Okay, this is our regular order. Is there anyone here with a question, an issue or concern that they'd like to raise with this board that is not on tonight's agenda?
Could I just ask you a
Sure,
quick question?
please state your name and ask your question.
My name is Bonnie Strunk, I'm a resident from Peterbilt. Is there a recall provision in our town code over in the town hall? Does anybody know?
For what?
Or elected officials in the town?
As far as I know, there isn't in New York City.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
She wanted to know if there was a recall, if you could force an election over an elected official. Over, you know, let's say you went out and got X number.
I understand.
Yeah,
Thank you.
okay, with that, I'll ask the clerk to take the roll
Supervisor Michaelenko,
here.
counselors, Alex,
Here.
Mannion,
Here.
Fiorenza,
Present.
Dooley,
Here.
Fleethood. Yep. Rexall.
Here.
Okay, we have a couple of public hearings tonight, one on the 2025 preliminary budget, and then we have a local dog ordinance regarding number of dogs. And in that order, and we have a couple minutes before they're scheduled, so I'll move to something in the agenda that should be somewhat quick. I know Patty said she wasn't feeling well, and I did see her here. Patty, I don't think it's gonna take us much discussion regarding the request for clerk's one on the recreation department roster. Like it. Forward.
So I'd like to request a clerk one on our roster. We currently have clerk two. And Elise Miles, who is our rec attendant right now, would like to go into the clerk title. She qualifies for clerk one, but not clerk two. So we'd like to be able to put that in the rec department so that we can put her on that track.
Have you worked with the comptroller's office and setting this in motion?
Yes.
Any questions from the board? Audience? With that, I'd entertain a motion. Have a motion from Max, and a second
Sarah.
from Sarah. Sorry, didn't see it. Any further discussion? I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Opposed? Abstained? Motion's carried. Yep, while you're there, Danny, let's jump to the second one, appoint Sandra Elsie as senior recreation leader.
Yes, I'd like to appoint Sandy as senior recreation leader. She's been a fabulous employee, done some really good work for us. Since we're gonna be short me shortly, she's gonna be taking a lot more responsibilities on. So I'd like to promote her to the senior.
Same question, this is something you work with civil service and comptroller's office and setting in motion. Okay, any questions from the board?
No, I feel this one's a long time coming, so thank you.
It hasn't probably been circulated yet as well, but regarding Sandy, we did get a letter from Marcellus, have that sent to the board.
Great.
It's very well.
I hope eventually she'll be able to be director. Fingers crossed, she certainly can handle it.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion from Max and a second from Jack. Help with the vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion's carried. We're at 6:05. Ask the clerk to read the notice on the preliminary budget.
Yeah. Okay.
I was distracted.
Notice of hearing of preliminary budget. Notice is hereby given that the preliminary budget of the town of DeWitt for the fiscal year beginning January 1, 2025 has been completed and filed in the office of the town clerk, 5400 Butternut Drive, where it is available for inspection by any interested persons during regular business hours. Said budget includes proposed special improvement district budgets. Further notice is hereby given that the town board of the town of DeWitt will meet, review said preliminary budget together with the proposed special improvement district budgets for all water, refuse, sanitary sewer, storm sewer, drainage, fire protection, street lighting, and other special districts, and hold a public hearing thereon at the town offices, 5400 Butternut Drive, and simultaneously via Zoom on the 28th day of October 2024 at 6:05 p.m. and that at such hearing, any person may be heard in favor or against the preliminary budget as compiled, or for or against any item or items herein contained. Pursuant to section 108 of the town law, the proposed salaries of the following town officers are hereby specified as follows. Town supervisor, 58,000, counselors, 6 each, 19,000. Deputy supervisor, 3,000, town clerk, 64,700, town highway superintendent, 95,000, judge, 2 each at 44,500. By order of the town board, this was published in the Post Standard on October 20th, 2024.
any instruction by the budget committee or policy?
No,
Thanks to the public.
I think Controller Fusco is gonna give an overview, you know, we've met pretty much monthly, probably 10 months out of the year. Feel like we've, again, put together a very competent, budget that lowers the tax rate approximately about the same as the assessment increases, so we're feeling pretty good about it. I will let Controller Terry Fusco do her presentation, do an overview, and hopefully we can answer any questions that the audience has or anybody on the board has.
Okay, so, for 2025, preliminary budget, for our main fund, general fund, park town, and highway. This year, we are budgeting for $23,330,134, in revenues. And of that, 15,339,261 is from tax levy. And overall, revenues are up 20% year. Total expenditures are equal to our revenues, and overall, the entire budget is at a total expenditure of $34,794,347. Which our largest district, or our largest fund is our general fund, which next, I think.
Just to point out, you're going through the police are part of our general fund. So the police and our highway funds are two of our most expensive.
Police are 28% of our general fund.
However, I think they're two of our most valuable departments, and I think the residents really appreciate everything the police and the highway departments do. To keep pace with inflation and everything else. I think we do a great job, and got our police chief, our new police chief with us here today in the audience. If anyone wants to say hello, or if you haven't met him yet.
So this year we are held to a tax cap of 2%. So our proposed rates for general, park town, and highway is 11% decrease from before rates. Townwide general fund, we're proposing a rate of $2.87, which is down from last year, $3.21. Highway rate is $1.20.
Rock, do you have any issues with the highway decrease in funding?
No, we're good for now.
Question I have is the preliminary budget, what's the deadline to apply?
So we have to approve the final budget by November 20th.
If we have a delay in first speaker, that's it.
Yeah, we've still got 3 weeks to make some minor changes. I don't think there's gonna be any major changes, but certainly as we review this, continue to review it. You know, we've got another budget meeting next week. We've got another budget meeting November 8th, so if anyone has issues, get them to Terry Fusco or somebody on the budget committee or somebody on the board supervisor, just let them know what you're thinking. If we feel it's appropriate to make a minor adjustment, we'll do it.
I got November 15th and
Have
the meeting, the budget meeting.
15th at 9, yes.
November fifteenth.
Okay, so it's the 13th. Well, that was if we had the delay.
And any comments, questions? Comments, questions from the audience? With that, I'll close the hearing. I'll entertain a motion to accept the preliminary budget from Councilor Mannion, second from discussion. Vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion's carried. All right, thank you. All right, that puts us into our second public hearing, which is an opening. Yeah, we held this open so that we could notice those individuals that had a multiple licensed dogs in the town. I want to say I'm one of the major culprits in this law change. And over the course of time, I've just witnessed and seen a number of dog complaints and a while back, I saw pictures of a child that was ripped up in a pretty terrible state. And if you cite the CDC statistics, and I know that's included in the packet, but it's children and dogs, multiple dog households are extremely more likely, 5 times more likely than anyone to get bit in a single household or a single dog household. And again, this is not an indictment of the individuals that have multiple dogs and do an excellent job in caring for them. What this does for us is it gives us a tool to use in situations where people do not properly care for multiple dogs in a single setting. The average in most municipalities of legally licensed dogs range between 2 and 4. This law sets us right in the middle. And with housing and the projections for the future coming, we're gonna see greater numbers of apartment complexes, townhouse living. I don't know, I'm not predicting the future, but in general, all agencies, all municipalities are telling us that the days of the large lot, the single family home, most population is numbered. And so for the ability to manage complaints, to act with code enforcement officers, the SPCA in our setting is contracted to control handle dog complaints. This gives, animal cruelty, other issues are contracted from the town to the SPCA. We are not proper agency or organization for these things. We do not have personnel or the capabilities to manage it. And so, it's my recommendation that we enact this change, which shifts from legal ownership of 5 dogs to 3 dogs. And it grandfathers anyone in that situation that has more than 3 dogs now. So individuals or households that are properly managing a household of 5 dogs or 4 dogs continue to do so into the future. It's now forward. Excuse me. So with that, I'm gonna open it to the audience. Anybody that cares to speak to this issue, please, all I ask is that you direct your comments to the board. Not here to debate internally, so if you disagree with something here from another residents, please refrain in commenting and direct your comments to the board and in particular to make it sure the answers that you're
where this law addresses the issues you just raised about having legal.
We have no other,
There's a penal law that addresses that. There are public laws that address it. This law doesn't address the issues that you just raised.
irrespective of the answer to that question, I believe it does, because it gives us the opportunity to inspect and or check out the conditions in a setting when we know there's multiple. Just some of the cases that have occurred in the past. We have individuals that are working with dog care facilities that have limitations in terms of the number of animals that they use. So if there is a dog care facility, licensed facility, that may meet their demand and the maximum number they can house, they typically have individuals that they send those dogs to, and they reside in residences. We get complaints or neighbors, I've gotten complaints where dogs have jumped fences and attacked children at school, bus school members, and so on.
It's a fine, and that can be in, but this law doesn't, this proposed law doesn't address that.
But this addresses for practical reasons, issues that are very difficult to attend. I get 5 large dogs in an apartment complex and the owners don't. I get a call from the residents that live next to that large apartment complex. And it's, in my opinion, I'm not speaking for this entire board, not a wise decision to allow the large 5 dogs legal housing in that apartment complex.
That's an excellent point, and law could be drafted to address that. This does not address that. You're using a sledgehammer to deal with the problem that could be in.
This is the law we had on the books, and this is the law from us. If we want to deal with those other aspects of the law, we can. Tonight, this is what's being seen.
Which is the way this law functions. So we have issues of failing infrastructure. People don't have water for days on end. We have tax issues, assessment issues, we have housing issues.
I'm not aware of where people have been without water for days on end. I think that's a very inaccurate
You
statement.
missed the two water main breaks we had recently.
And both water repairs were fixed in less than. People stored water.
Absolutely not true. Absolutely not true.
You had a large water main break, but yeah. Most of the
But
people,
come out and live in the community.
I do. I live in an elderly area that's water serviced by the city. Our water comes into the town of DeWitt in ancient pipes. I live in one of the most elderly neighborhoods in. We constantly experience water failure, delivery. Rarely we experience absence of water delivery in this city.
So. A number of years ago, we had a situation.
You're here to talk about dogs. You're telling me my law does not apply to the instances that you're talking about. Now you're gonna tell me about water. Well,
Well,
we're
I'm just
just
saying
talking
that there-
about dogs.
Simply saying there's a number of pressing issues in town. Let me get back to this, because again, I feel you're using a sledgehammer to address something that could be in a way that addresses the concerns you have. We had a situation a number of years ago, unfortunately, almost 50 years, you've run into situations. Lovely couple in our neighborhood had unfortunate circumstances, they had several dogs. Wife became very ill, husband retired so he could take care of her. He died very suddenly. Family decided the woman couldn't live on her own. Removed her and had to move the family out of state. They couldn't do anything about the dogs. They needed friends, neighbors, people to talk about. We were able to do that in the past. So now just family was sort of lovely pets, not pit bulls, that was lovely pets. Appeal to the neighbors. We came together. You're telling us now, that the town doesn't want us to just put the dogs down, can't help each other out. You can't have the SPCA, Humane Society,
I don't understand
constantly
why you
looking.
can't. Fail
Look,
to recognize.
if I have 4 dogs and they have 2 dogs that need help, you're telling me I can't do it. You're telling me I can't do it. You're telling me that we can't be fosters. Is somebody gonna write a letter to the SPCA and the Humane Society telling them that the town of DeWitt no longer wants to residents need to help the community by being foster caretaker?
They don't give- You can't legally license say you're a residence for three.
So you're telling us that, but the town.
These
I
are
thought
legally licensed dog at a particular residence, and what you're saying is you want to find those. Right,
Well, they couldn't, pretend they couldn't find them, so we took the dogs. So you're simply saying, regardless of our circumstances, we have the fenced in yard, we have plenty of space. You're saying that nobody in the town of DeWitt can help with the circumstances. It's.
yes, sir.
My name is James Rada. I live over in the Boulder Heights section. I am one of the folks you mentioned earlier with Helping Hounds. I have fostered many of their dogs over the years. Okay, so my question is this, for people who do work, I believe this is what she was getting at, but I didn't hear it explicitly. People who work with animal rescue organizations in the area, SPCA, Helping Hounds, Second Chance. If we are being asked to foster dogs, if that is there's an absolute 3-dog cutoff?
There will be the, if you have a neighbor complaint or an issue with one of those dogs gets out, bites someone, we don't go looking. Right, any zoning complaint. Code enforcement complaints are usually complaint driven. So if you're mismanaging those dogs and your neighbors are complaining, we'll have to.
But if I fill out paperwork.
Excuse me,
I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, but if I have one dog that gets out, where does the number 3 become the magic elixir here?
Number 3 is the magic elixir based on what the review of other municipalities and what is acceptable in most municipalities. If you look at licensing of animals throughout this country, the average for most municipalities is between 2 and 4. And really, it comes down to large complex living. Most individuals, we have a number of apartment complexes and other multifamily dwellings that you wanna find that number somewhere in what's tolerable in a multi-family setting, and we settled on 3, which comes right between 2 and 4.
If somebody is in an apartment complex and their neighbor has 2 dogs, they complain about those 2 dogs, and the neighbors say we're under the restriction of 3, so that complaint is moot?
There's little we can do about it.
So someone could have 2 dogs.
Somebody
control
has
over
2
them,
dogs in
and
his apartment,
SPCA
then
and others.
we get complaints about it, there's not a lot of action.
SPCA is still gonna address the complaint.
So the
Complaints still gonna go to.
the only way to address it is to count the number of dogs, is what you're saying, is if they're over 3, action can be taken. If it's under 3,
No, action can be taken by the SPCA,
About how many dogs there are.
but
no matter how many dogs there are.
no matter how many dogs there are.
You complain whether it's 1 dog or 5
Okay.
dogs, you complain, whatever you complain, I'm not sure.
So there are mechanisms in place now, regardless of the number of dogs.
To call the SPCA, we contract with SPCA, we used to have dog catchers years ago, and that's just not practical. And you know,
And so for those of us who are asked to foster by these organizations, what is our workaround?
Lie and take.
No, I won't do that, I won't lie. No, I won't. I can't, I've got a backyard, people can count the number of dogs I'll have there.
Open a business, buy a, a dog kennel is an operation, it's a business. It's not a residence. You're basically supporting a industry in the management of the care of dogs in your home.
Helping Hounds, SPCA are not industries, they're rescue organizations.
Right. But they are not residential in nature. The work that they perform is,
To provide dogs to residents. That's not residential in nature.
the
But they
housing,
operate.
the housing and the care of the dogs.
They operate out of a commercial business. They were in a commercial property over by Shopping Town. And now recently they moved to a commercial warehouse area out off of West Half Road.
Correct, these-
Stop boosting.
But I'm talking about helping hounds as a business. It's a business. It's all it is. I mean, they have an LLC, they operate. And they're filing taxes every year as a business. I mean, I can look them up right here on my computer. I know they're not for profit, but they're still a business. I mean, not for profits are very big businesses. And Salvation Army probably has a bigger budget than the state of New York. So, I mean, these places are business, but they're not for profits, but they're. I bet the Helping Hounds has a pretty healthy salary line for their employees.
No, they don't.
You don't think they do?
No, they don't.
They have.
You can talk to them. I don't work there. I volunteer. I definitely know that they're not dancing in the streets over their salaries.
I'm not sure they're dancing in the streets, but they could have 10 people that are making 25, 30 grand a year.
What does that have?
It's a business. It's not a residential house. It's a business.
It's a business that provides a community service that the town of DeWitt isn't providing,
There's-
because we don't have
There's some
sufficient
very
resources
good,
here in the community.
we're not indicting the not-for-profits, we're not indicting the individuals that do a very good job managing multi-dog dwellings. What this law does is it establishes what I believe is a very good number for most residences in the safe management of those dogs and those animals in conjunction with their neighbors.
Could we ask then that the law be amended to different, absolutely 5 dogs shouldn't be in a 1-bedroom apartment? Why can't the law address the specific issues that you're concerned about, instead of using a sledgehammer approach and saying that no one, regardless of your facilities, and regardless of your ability, can have more than 3 dogs?
Because the number of issues that I've experienced in this seat for the last 25 years that I've been on the town board have come from multi-dog dwellings that are mismanaged. Again, what you're saying for the Helping Hounds and for an individual, as I believe this gentleman is, are not the problem. What this does is give us a tool to work those conditions and those situations where there are. Based on just the facts and the numbers. Greater the number of dogs in a dwelling, the greater number. Like.
I'm gonna step in on that. There's no numbers on that. You are actually just talking in vagaries a lot of the time. I haven't heard a number about how many complaints there are in the town of DeWitt. I haven't heard about how many bites there are in the town of DeWitt. I've heard about national things, national issues that all you are with the number is taking the good dog owners, please let me finish. I have 3 dogs. We've had 3 dogs forever. You could put 6 dogs in my house and there would not be an issue. But what you are is you're handcuffing the residents or people that are the good people who actually take in dogs, help our community and do like that because of issues that you are automatically claiming that I haven't heard a number of how many complaints there are. I haven't heard about dog bites around here. I haven't heard anything. All I've heard is vagaries about the country. This is the numbers about the country and the CDC. If you actually can present to the residents real numbers about complaint, and that's okay. If things are really happening, that's okay. Like he said, I have a backyard with dogs there's been no complaints ever. Anything about that. And I could put other dogs in. We've actually had other dogs stay at our house. So at the time, we've had 5 dogs. 0 complaints ever in my life. So you're telling me that I can't help the local people by fostering another dog or anything like that because you're handcuffing me and saying, if a dog barks and I get a complaint, now all of a sudden, nope, stop. If I get a complaint, now all of a sudden, now my other 3 dogs are in trouble. Now you're gonna come and get in trouble with all 4 of the dogs just because I tried to help another dog. You know what I mean? And those 3 dogs that have over a barking issue, then I don't even know how that's gonna go. But now you're all of a sudden you're saying that Because you're saying, oh, well, we're not overlooking, we're not doing like that, but then you'll cause a big thing about when somebody comes at my house for 5 dogs, helping 2 other dogs, that all of a sudden now, everybody's a dog for dogs that have done nothing but maybe bark. And had a noise complaint. And again, you haven't given me any numbers. You haven't told me about a dog bite issue around here or anything like that. Present things that actually are concrete. We can talk in vagaries about a million different things all over the place, but until you actually concretely give me some information about something going around here, and you're jumping from 5 to 3, why not jump one more down? Why not go from 5 to 4 and see how that affects the people in this residency before you're jumping 2 dogs down? You know what I mean, going through. I'm just saying, you're just throwing things out there because you have an agenda about what you want to do. You're not presenting anything out here other than your personal agenda about the world of how things are happening, and just making up things that I don't know that are true or not. You're not presenting me with anything.
I have specific neighborhood issues in a number of locations. In particular part. I have witnessed a child whose face was ripped off. In a multi-dog setting. I have a judge several years ago that had to have dogs put down. Most of the reason behind this is not due to just barking. It's due to any number of cases, is too many, where a dog jumps a fence and attacks a child on the street. I've had individuals that can't walk down certain blocks because there are homes that have taken in dogs above the 5 requirement.
Of course, I understand, there's people that do bad things.
Situation. And so, again, I don't have an exact number of dog complaints. I haven't asked my police officers to file them. I haven't asked them. I have put this forward, and yes, you're absolutely correct. I am lowering the number of dogs, or I'm asking this board to lower the number of dogs. And it does handcuff the responsibility. We have 26,000 residents in the town of DeWitt, and not all of them are responsible. Fortunately, would be willing to look at other laws, modifications to the law to help control some of these other issues or something. Still, my recommendation is modern move where we are would be lower than number.
Then why not something like an apartment complex versus a house or something like that?
Well,
Instead,
no, because some of these are they're coming out of houses and residential.
but you're not looking at numbers again. How many people have 3 or more dogs? How many issues have come from those houses? How many people have come from 1 or 2 houses? You're not giving us numbers. It could be 1 dog. Again, those stories are horrible. People get bit. I understand that. And they are horrible. I have pit bulls. And I'll tell you, we've never had an incident ever. You know what I mean? And we've gone through 10 different rescues. And none of them bite anybody in our lives. But there could be 1 bad dog that bites somebody that's your story. That doesn't mean 3 to 5 dogs. That means living at their house. It could be the 1 bad dog owner that has 1 bad dog that bites someone that now you are penalizing the rest of us who are good dog owners from having and helping our community, helping dogs, helping the SPCA, helping happy hounds. You're stopping us from doing that. Over a story that again, there's no numbers there.
My question is to the gentleman. When you foster or dogs are there, is there a specific time as to how long the dogs are with you? And these dogs licensing, I guess, or they're legally, the agency that asks you to wash them? Am I
They do
correct?
have specific time limits, yes.
Okay, and do they specify how many you're able to manage, or do they just ask you?
It depends on circumstances. So let's say there's an elderly couple moves into a nursing home, can't take dogs, and you've got these 2 dogs, siblings have been together for 10 years, they say, we don't want to break these 2 dogs up. Can somebody take them until we can find a house that is willing to take both of them together? That would put me over the limit. If I were to take the 2, I would only be able to take 1.
Okay.
They do have Helping Hounds has regulations. I don't know what SPCA's or second chances are, but Helping Hounds does have regulations.
Thank you. I'm asking because I really wasn't like a dog person until last year when my wife got a Morkie and it has changed my whole purview of dogs. So I'm asking about when you foster, are there parameters and limitations as to the time, how long they're there, do they know how you're spacing it? That just helps me make a decision.
They would never give me a ton of dogs. That's for sure. As for the time, the ideal is we can find a home for them soon. Problem is, if we don't,
And they are not your licensed dog.
they are through Helping Hounds, so they would have everything that comes through the business that is Helping Hounds.
Thank you.
My name's Dana Sawyer, this is the first time. And I'm here, so I've said a few things, some clarification on the questions, and I apologize if you have already answered them. So with, limiting the dogs in the household, I know we've been talking about rescues and, you know, fostering, but overall, that pretty much has a negative impact on shelters and rescues where they're already at max capacity for the most part. So it's kind of like, how do we, that kind of makes the problem even worse when it comes to trying to clear the shelter per se. And then along the lines of fostering, say you take in a dog, a foster, and they're there for a while. And you already have 3 of your own dogs. When, you know, if you can't find someone to take this dog in and you become, you know, attached or bonded to this dog and it gets along with your 3 dogs. What do? You say, okay, well, I gotta send it back to the shelter, find someone else to foster it. That dog's going to have to basically relearn everything, understand, try to learn a routine at someone else's house. And this does cause stress, it does cause anxiety in them. And that's when they will start to act out, because like, if you're going from home to home to home, you have a certain set of rules, and it's kind of like, you're going to, I mean, just if you think of it as yourself, it's kind of like it just blows your mind. So it's like for a dog, it's kind of along the same lines, but even worse. I mean, you can't even communicate with them, you know. And I think that is something, you know, they'll become fearful, and that contributes to attacks and bites and stuff like that. Whereas, you know, if I've been fostering this dog for a year, we're comfortable, everything's good, those issues are, it isn't an issue. All right, and then another thing, I just want, here's the thing I'd like to mention here, you know, again, along the lines of shelter being at max capacity. Let's say you have your 3 dogs. They have senior dogs, right? They're gonna be stressed out in the shelter. Say, I wanna adopt this dog. I know he's not gonna be around too long, but at least I can have him in a comfortable home setting right about the rest of the day. Whereas otherwise, he's gonna be scared and lonely and die in a kennel or be euthanized. It's kind of like, you know, it's like, but you already got your dog, so you can't keep the senior dog in and help it. And also, you know, as, and I don't mean this, I hope I don't sound fresh, but as a property owner, and if you are responsible, you take care, you know, of your pets, you have the time, the money, you have the space for these dogs. It's, you know, like with me, I have a house, I have 3 dogs, they're all licensed, they're all,
you know, up to date on everything. And I don't have kids, they are my family. So to me, and I'm sure there's other people too, it's kind of like you're saying, you can't have more than 3 kids. Like, you know, and it's like, I mean, but it's, you know, that's my situation. And, you know, it kind of same thing, I know it's different. I don't have cats, but there's so many cats wandering around, it's like anything, it seems like that, there should be a limit on that. And you mentioned something about, dogs jumping fences. I could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that you do adopt a dog, I believe you have to have a fence that certain, I believe it's like 5 feet at least. Whereas, I mean, if you're gonna be taking a dog in, I would imagine that the rescue would let you know, like, hey, just so you know, this dog is a flight risk, you know, something like that, so then you can, you know, make the necessary changes you need to prior to bringing that dog home to help prevent that from happening. It's, I think, not like ever, I just wanted to express, you know, how I felt about it. And, I mean, not that I guess really matters, but there are other people who, you know, are disabled, like I said, I have 50% hearing loss, and I go to bed and take my hearing aids out. I have 3 dogs. One of them has epilepsy, so she's kind of out of it all the time. But the other 2, if something were to happen, I need enough noise. I need them to bark loud enough to wake me up. So I know there's something going on. And for me personally, the two that I have that do bark when something is, you know, going on in the house. Sometimes I can't hear it when I'm sleeping. My husband's like, ah, they're barking, and I'm waking up. So in a way, you know, for me, because I have 2, but I know if I had a 4th one, that's 3 that will bark. It'll be loud enough for me to know if my house is on fire or someone's breaking. But I mean, and like I said, I just, so you kind of see another love it. And, you know, like I said, either it's my family, and it's kind of like limiting that, you know, it kind of feels in a way like we're being punished because of other people's problems with their dogs, because they don't train them or they don't care for them right, or their dog is being rehabilitated, you know, from after being abused, and now you're trying to taking it in and allowing it to learn to have a second chance at life, a good life, a normal dog. You know, sorry, I can go on further. I'll just stop there. So,
Or did see in the light of those individuals that have multiple licensed dogs to grandfather. And those that have 5 dogs. That have,
Yeah, if they're unregistered, you can register them by January 1st.
yeah, well, I have my 3 and they are all licensed, but it's like between now and then, it's like whatever, I don't have one by, you know, by then, and then it's like, you know, it's like, well, thank you.
I just wanted to pick up on something you said earlier to make sure I heard it correct. You said you did realize that this law would place restrictions on responsible. Okay. And that is on the public record then, right? Okay.
But I just, again, we're back to a little bit of the data. How many of the dogs that cause problems are actually licensed in the town of DeWitt? Like the dog that jumped the fence and attacked the kid, whatever these stories are of the situations that happen. Are they responsible dog owners? Are all those dogs licensed? Because is it even addressing that issue? Because I know people in my neighborhood that don't have licensed dogs. I know people that, you know, she just said, we have 3 licensed dogs, he has 3 licensed dogs. There are people in here, but at any given point, we would think we could pick up a foster, pick up a 4th, a senior, we always rescue seniors. Again, no issues. The people that are the problems, the dogs that are the problems, does this address that issue? And fundamentally, it's not going to, most likely. It's gonna, maybe your apartment complex issue, which, you know, maybe the apartment complexes should have rules themselves. And, but it's not addressing the irresponsible dog owner that lives in a house. They have 1 dog, 2 dogs, the dog can jump the fence if there's only 1 or 2 of them. The dog can do whatever if there's only 1 or 2 of them.
It can happen with only 1.
Yes, so does this address this issue?
The statistics that I cite, and it's part of our packet that I did not read the whole thing, are the number of events or occurrences that occur.
By licensed dogs at a licensed household of
By
licensed.
the numbers of them.
But those numbers you don't have
You know, those.
from around here.
From the town.
No,
of DeWitt.
from this
These are
area.
nationals.
That's
Not exactly.
Then I get out of the CDC.
Yeah, and that's,
Exactly.
I mean, every state has different, like, you get, the reason Helping Hands is open is because like the number of
If
dogs
my
down.
question is, do I know if DeWitt is higher or lower than the national averages?
We're making a law for DeWitt.
Yes, yeah, we're not making a national law.
But if you, invariably, if you go around the country and you look at cities, municipalities, I don't care if you look at Rochester, Albany, San Francisco or Boston. Most municipalities are only licensed 2 to 4 dogs.
Why are we going
somewhere in
4?
that range, right?
So why are we jumping right
It's
to
on the
3?
high end of it. Again, it's due to the number of instances that I've experienced and others have experienced. that we-
How many this year?
Are they
I mean, what are we looking at this year?
But the severity, I've got a petition from dozens of neighbors in a neighborhood.
So it's 1 neighborhood right now that's an issue. So over at Pickwick, it's not an issue,
We're not
but like
striving- Yeah, there's.
Homewood's not an issue. I'm just asking, like, it's, you're talking about up at Park Hill or wherever that
There
is.
is a situation that
We're gonna make a whole law.
we're large pools. And we put down because of the number of the instances of attacks they got out to their neighborhood. Again, the child that had its face ripped off in a multiple dog setting.
All of town of DeWitt is making a rule for 1 neighborhood.
Town of
Instead
DeWitt.
of the SPCA coming into that neighborhood, the cops coming into that neighborhood and dealing with that issue. Like that's what you're telling us as well. All of DeWitt, all the taxpayers in DeWitt right now are being, those of us that choose to have dogs, those of us that work, are being, the law is being dropped from 5 dogs to 3 dogs because 1 neighborhood has an issue. And we can't figure out how to deal with that issue in that neighborhood. So as a taxpayer of this neighborhood,
These are issues that have been brought to us that have brought this to.
how many this year?
Yes.
You just gave me 2.
And those issues can be dealt with by the penal law and by existing procedures, regulations. This law doesn't do anything at all to address that underlying.
The 2-dog
issue.
home that does that. It doesn't address any of the issues you're saying are an issue. Except for maybe in a family where something happens in a house with multiple dogs because of that. But that's that family's issue of they're choosing to have 3 dogs with a kid and, you know, they have to make some decisions as a family. But all of us as taxpayers of the town of DeWitt are being punished or being held to a standard because we can't resolve an issue in 1 neighborhood.
Oh, who's there?
That's what he said, he just
That's
brought
the
up.
only
the one
numbers he
neighborhood.
has, dozens of things in his
The
neighborhood.
neighborhood with the
He's
poodle.
nothing, 0 other cases anywhere in our
I mean,
town.
complaints, we're talking noise complaints, basic, like, I'm sure the cops deal with that, but it's actual incidences of, I don't know of one in my neighborhood, and we have like 60
Yeah.
dogs in our neighborhood. I
Yes.
mean, there's dogs like all over the place over in
Yeah.
Pickwick. And we haven't had, you know, anything. I know everybody in the neighborhood. And there's multiple 3-dog owners in our neighborhood. And maybe 4, I don't know if people have little dogs. It just seems bad for us that are actually taxpayers that are doing, that, you know, follow the rules that we're being told. We couldn't have a 4th dog if we wanted, and you don't have data to support why I can't have that 4th dog.
Yeah,
And the issues can
I
be
have
addressed
national
by.
data.
I know, no, you don't town of DeWitt data of how town of DeWitt is being impacted by the city, not the city of Syracuse. I understand that they've got issues and they have a ton of unlicensed dogs and they are the problems in the city of Syracuse. I work in Syracuse, I understand all of that. Does the town of DeWitt, are the dogs causing the problem, licensed or unlicensed? Are the multiple dogs jumping over the fence? Are they licensed or unlicensed? Is the licensing an issue? how we have to deal with those people in issue, which is getting the cops in, getting the SPCA in, taking these dogs in. Are the dogs that are jumping the fence, you can't be a dog owner, how do the rules, what do you guys do to deal with that? Or are we just saying everybody can just have 3 dogs? And it seems like we're just saying everyone can have 3 dogs because we don't wanna deal with the issue with the legal laws that we should be dealing with the issue with. So we're just gonna say, you're a good taxpayer, but multiple people in my neighborhood that have over 3 dogs that didn't get the letter, they got the letter, they didn't read it. People in my neighborhood don't know about any of this, we were talking, walking the street today, we happened to get the letter and happened to read it. And we're like, what is going on? Why is this law going to vote right now when no one in the neighborhood knows about it? Like, all, if we have, I'm telling you, we have 60 dogs in the pit.
I'm sorry, it's irresponsible as a board to pass a law without any data to back it up. You are just coming up with your own thing, CDC, national, my experiences, my area, blah, 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 blah. Give us numbers of why this is really happening. That's what I want.
And let the people actually know.
Yes, let her.
We literally found out
yeah,
3 days
yeah.
ago about, or whatever,
Yeah.
last week about this.
Yeah.
That means no one,
Yeah.
I text one girl that used to walk, we're going to the cat, and
Yeah.
she's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, you need to send a letter, we come here, we find out it's already a done deal. And we're like, that's, our neighborhood doesn't even know about this.
Because it's
People
crazy
that work
right
at
now. It's
DNR rescue, they don't know that this is
Yeah.
going on,
Nothing, you have nothing to back it up other than national data.
and then it's on
of
based on
ter-
national.
Of terrible numbers, yes.
And I
Why do you
think
pick the worst town in the country and go, look at the data there, oh, they have terrible dog things, why don't we adopt that and do it? You know what I mean, where it's way
There's a
different.
lot of
Yeah.
responsible family owners in
Correct,
DeWitt.
yeah,
We have, like,
it's just so ridiculous what you're doing, I'm sorry. And it's a really,
If you got 3 dogs and the rule is 3 dogs, no rule, what's the problem?
What
what
if
if I
I,
want another dog?
what if I go to the rescue and the senior dog, I go,
Right now, you don't, you have 3.
sometimes we've had 4, we've had 4 sometimes.
Yes,
And now we would not be able to have, as a result,
You think you got someone working here just on dogs?
we don't think that there's that many people that you guys deal with on dog, you can't tell us the number of people you deal with dogs right now.
Introduced a proposed law that doesn't deal with the underlying issue, and there are laws and rules in effect that can address all of these
I'd be
issues.
more than happy to entertain other laws that deal with the other issues, if you bring them.
Then why aren't we doing that first?
There are ways that this could be done that could address the issues you're raising. We'll draft a law, we'll
Yeah.
get together and draft a law.
I'd be more than happy to, but that's not gonna change my position, and again, I haven't canvassed the board yet, this could get totally rejected to get to it. But that wouldn't change mine, that believe that 3 is a reasonable number for licensed dogs in a single dwelling.
It's your belief, but there's no basis for that being the basis for a law. I have beliefs, but I wouldn't propose to the town board that they make it into a law when it has nothing to do with the well-being,
There's laws all over
the well-being of the people in
numbers
this
or
community
control.
and our ability to be able to care.
Enterprise.
Would you rather just go?
You have-
There are ways, there are ways that these issues can be dealt with. Perhaps the police department could become a liaison to work closer with the SPCA to be able to enforce the law so that these issues that you're raising can be addressed without impacting the rest of us that are trying to be good citizens. We have our dogs licensed. I'm sure everybody in this room has their animals properly licensed. You're punishing us and saying, if you want to foster, you're gonna have to break the law and do it.
Health and safety restrictions and codes exist in all sorts of areas, and they're usually based on large, broad scale statistics. That say when something is an extreme or not. And again, I acknowledge there's all sorts of dog owners that 5, 8, 10 dogs in a given setting, but the majority of a population of 27,000 people, 10,000 lots spread across residential settings, on top of that with multiple family dwellings and apartment complexes and multi-story buildings. 3 is a reasonable number.
Except that doesn't address the issues that you raised as the basis for this proposed law. Why not have a law that addresses those issues for the board to consider? If there's a basis for that pertains to the town of DeWitt, a law can be drawn up, a proposed ordinance can be drawn up to address those
I'd be
issues.
more than happy to entertain that. Forward something in that vein to me, but the question here today is modifying an existing law. And we're just shifting a number from 5 to 3.
You're doing more than shifting, they're punishing responsible citizens who live in the town. You're punishing those of us who try to obey the law.
Those,
You're punishing us who are trying to help reduce the number of animals that don't have homes. We're trying.
With no
We
data.
don't, we don't want people.
And that's an
leaving
issue
dogs
I
loose and not
acknowledge.
have a home. We're
that,
trying to be
the
responsible.
residency of dog rescues is an issue that we are not resolving here, right? You're bringing an issue to us that I think we all can agree is an issue that could be or should be dealt with in a separate issue, separate. But right now, the idea of housing dog rescues in a residential neighborhood is something that you can explore, or bring me a dog law or something like that that allows on a temporary basis or something of that nature. But for the legal housing of anybody with 3 or more dogs right now, they're being grandfathered. Anybody that's got 4 or 5 dogs right now that's legally licensed and not having an issue, but we're not having an issue with them, they can continue to do so.
So we just say to our neighbors, listen, if you die after January 1st, 2025, don't look to your neighbors to help you out. Just put the animals down or just let the animals loose and then the town can deal with them.
I don't know how many instances that includes, again, out of 26,000 people. I don't know how many times that's an occurrence or involvement. Thank you. Raising some good points and bring me those other laws. Be more than happy to entertain. Question today is sports. It's free, I don't know the answer to that question.
Then call the question.
Yeah.
Call the question.
Yep.
So it's the order, right? Call the question.
I'm very curious. I really wanna see who votes.
Yeah.
'Cause there'll be a new agenda, but
Yeah.
we sitting on the board, I guess, so.
I'm asking first, how many people would be if they were in this proposal? It's right.
So I just, and I expressed some of this, last time we talked about this too. And I think I share a lot of the concerns with the people. And I expressed that to you. I understand that there are issues. I really would be in favor of a law that was more tailored to trying to deal with those specific issues. I think that this is a pretty broad stroke. Going down to 5, I do think it prevents people from responsibly having the dogs that they can. And again, if you have an acre and a half and you've got 3 miniature schnauzers, I mean, probably no one would even notice. But again, it's the same thing. You have 4 Great Danes and, 900 square feet of space, then yeah, not everything is the same. And I think this specifically moving from 5 to 3, the way we're doing it, it's not something.
Literally, I share the same expression. I'm not in favor of the number. I think we do need to look at multi units, particularly because of the size and the occupancy density. But in terms of our law abiding citizens that greatly spoke out tonight, thank you for showing up. This is what it's about. For the high schoolers here, this is probably our most active TV in a few months. So thank you. You picked a good night. But I would be looking to refine, as I stated in the previous discussion as well, to ensure that we're bringing, we're looking at all of the town citizens, all of the household capacities that we do have.
Yeah, I would support this because it says, from 5 to 3, and also has people grandfather in, as stated in the letter, and that everybody got a letter. I think everyone was notified of this. Not that many people here talking about it. I think that, this is a good law about this.
I'm, you in the back there, I'm gonna get you some statistics, I think we should table it, we'll get you some statistics of what we can add in the town and make it. I think we should table it, which is important.
Can I follow up with you? Phone call email?
Follow up with me if you have to.
Okay.
Yeah, the supervisor or myself.
Sounds like a winner.
I think the board has spoken, I mean, I never had more than one dog, but if it seems that important to everybody, I don't see why it's a problem to keep the public hearing open for another few weeks. If Monty's willing to get us some ideas and thoughts, I'm okay with that. However, I did discover that Healthy Counties is a real business, and they have over $500,000 in their salary. By the way.
They have, but that's not the issue, that's just.
I know it's not the issue, but you said it wasn't.
But it's not a profit. I mean, we're not traded on New York Stock Exchange. You know,
Just wanted to let you know. Bernard?
As the law is written, I could not support it. I think that it is. It is too rigid and not taking into consideration those responsible caring dog owners. I think it also needs to take a look at sizing multi-dwelling apartments. So as it is written, if we were to vote with it as it is written, no, I could not. So
There you have it. Right? This board is not gonna act on that tonight. Keep this meeting open. Please provide us your commentary in writing at the supervisor at thetownofdewitt.com, and I will make sure that the board gets whatever information you provide me. It's very simple email address. It's supervisor@thetownofdewitt.com. What did I say? It's townofdewitt.com. That there is no.
supervisor at townofthewitt.com.
Provide that information and we'll provide you back any information that we've got. Please provide those other ones.
During the pirates, it's supervisor at, not supervisor ed.
Supervisor Ed.
Before you leave.
So are you guys
I'm just trying to figure out
researching
why
the
it's
data for the town of
townofthewitt.com.
DeWitt?
It
It's
should be.
usually up.
It should be, but it's a business like Healthy Counties.
Yes, yes. Okay. When we first established, we tried to get that going.
Okay, thank you.
So you guys are gonna research the
But that
data for
doesn't
the
have
town
to
of
be-
DeWitt, or are we in charge of trying to track it?
And you have anything?
And we'll contact, and then we'll be back at the next board meeting.
I'll give you what we have in our records.
Appreciate it.
And so will we come back to the next board meeting, and that will be when the vote is,
No,
or?
I don't know, I don't believe, we'll notice you when, you leave us on your email, we'll notice you when there's any issue.
Okay, perfect, thanks very much.
Leave it all, I'll tell you right now. We're not gonna.
Okay,
I can't tell you what government does in that fix.
okay, perfect.
Thanks, Dana.
Thank you.
All right. Got a full agenda here, let's move on, planning and zoning board of legal report.
Want to say after, then I got me to follow. All right, the quarterly report going from August 1st to October 15th, which is good since I was here last night. A little bit of half months. So in that time period, we issued 88 permits, revenue of $147,546. Any board application, received 12 applications with revenue of $24,780. CBA applications, we received 3 applications in that time period with revenue of $3,325. Fire inspections completed, there were 28 businesses, 3 restaurants, 8 hotels, 5 apartments, 4 mobile parks, 1 care facility, 1 school. 911 call outs, we had 3 in this time period. Fines received $250,000. Thanks received 44. We did 9 properties that we referred to claim for towing at a cost of $5,167. And that cost was budgeted to the county. Springfield Gardens, that time period, we received 4 things. Most of the complaints we received from Springfield were for leaks in the ceilings and the mold. And that's what we've been trying to work with them. Those issues, I'm getting those out better and faster. We've been working with the management company to try to address the cleanup of discarded tires. There's a lot of tires there. We're trying to taking hauling those out of there, and we're trying to work with them on that. There's a lot of trash dumping happening on the site. People who live there. Trying to get the management company to install security cameras and also to establish regular dumpster trash pickup, so it's picked up regularly and doesn't accumulate there. And our code enforcement officer attended the tenant association meeting on September 26th to talk to the tenants. Some of our highlights in current projects: our code enforcement officer was certified by New York State on October 8th. Pretty exciting. Our clerk 1 began her code enforcement training classes, and she has completed 2 out of the 6 training classes so far. We were awarded a NYSERDA grant to purchase $15,000 of electric landscaping equipment. And project I'm working on is updating proposed project list for mitigation of natural hazards for the Onondaga County Hazard Mitigation Plan. That's it? Pretty bored, wasn't it? What's going on? Thank you, that was great.
Speaking, I have a question. The fire inspections. With the code inspector, congratulations on passing everything. Would that increase, or is that done in conjunction with the frequency of fire inspections? How often are they to happen, and when do they happen? Because when I look and see, like, between August and October, schools and care facilities.
And they're all on a schedule, and I think there are some that get inspected every 1 year and some that it might be 3 years, and I can get you that info. I'm not sure exactly the details of what gets inspected on what schedule. So we do have one part-time inspector who basically spends his time doing fire inspections. Derek, our code enforcement officer, is usually dealing with complaints and building permits and everything else. It'll be a great one to me.
And do they do those inspections in conjunction with the fire department or independently?
Just to that question, Alana, we had talked about it before, but even with the having possibly 2 full-time codes officers in the future, there may still be enough work to keeping up with the fire codes to adding another part-time person dealing with fire codes, correct?
It was my understanding that we were part-timers. At one point in time, the DeWitt Fire Department came to us and said that they would pick up fire inspections, and we asked them to propose them to accept the cost. And that would target with that proposal yet. They are in the market for fire inspectors.
Actually, we made other inquiries and he can't do fire inspections.
He was. Last year. It's my understanding. It's a process of. Never. There's some several times.
So Rick is certified to do the safety inspections, so that's pretty much.
To have knowledge of an individual fire inspections. Some kind of conversation. I just want the comments. It's $574.11 for a lot. What you said, there was $5,000 worth.
Did I read the wrong number?
Nine properties.
9 properties, that's $574.11.
Well, per property, but not per event,
They're
correct?
not all the same. They're not all the same amount. Some of them take a lot of hours, sometimes. The beach are this high, and sometimes there's debris in there that they have to clear first. And some of them are big.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying. Yeah.
Stuff. I would like to cut the lot on Highland Ave for 48 cents.
Yeah, there's a lot of branches sometimes or garbage or.
Perfect.
In general, Lana, do you feel like you're catching up and that the code complaints are starting to quiet down a little bit or slow down a little bit, or do you feel it's still been pretty
I
consistent?
don't think the complaints ever slowed down. I think it kind of cycles, we had the big grass push at the end of the
Right.
summer. And, now we get different kinds of complaints. It's kind of an ebbs and flows, but we'll always have things to complain.
Sure.
I don't know those over again. But I mean, we're able to address them more quickly now that we.
Right.
Wait till we give you the dog complaints. Now we're gonna give them to the chief.
Great, thanks a lot.
Sure. I have one more item on here.
Authorization implementation of deer management and education plan for 2025.
So this is the same plan we do every year, nothing has changed, it's pretty much the same sites. So basically just looking to approve going forward with this, we have to do seeker. And then we have cooperative service agreement between the town and USDA, which I've already signed. I don't know if we need to vote on
Did I
that.
sign it for 2025?
Yes, that one you did. But there's also a DEC permit application that Matt has. They're separate. This is a contract with USDA and that's a DEC permit application. So I don't know if you need to
Yeah, I
vote
got
on those
authorization
separately.
for this at the end of 2024.
Oh,
So this should have authorization in the record. But the CEC permit. Usually a separate file.
Yep.
So do I need board authorization to execute this or?
correct. Yes.
And should we make sure that I did?
Yeah, we should do seeker.
I'll just state briefly for the public record, that for seeker purposes, this is an unlisted action. And the town of DeWitt is declaring lead agency for the purposes of the 2024-2025 deer management project. And based upon part 1 and part 2. Short environmental assessment form, there are no negative environmental impacts associated with this program.
And that needs to be signed as well. That's one.
I got all this information for you later.
Okay, so is that gonna be 2 motions or 1 motion? And what specifically are you doing motions for?
Shouldn't have to vote on seeker.
Not seeker, we're gonna do a motion for the deer damage permit application, Angela, for 2025. And Ed also could be authorized to sign the secret forms that I'm holding here, 2 motions. And while I'm holding it,
The contract with USDA, that.
Contract with
that
USDA.
was not authorized while I was here, I don't think. So was that authorized?
we did it last year.
I'm assuming that if my signature's on it,
I
that
think that's something you just signed in the office. So
We did the
maybe we should
organizational
authorize that
meeting.
too.
We think of the organizational meeting is our.
that was back in October. This was like-
No, we did this last
Like
year.
last-
Yeah, someone usually out of that department would have brought it to me, so.
We did the meeting last year.
Shit.
Or, Eric gave it to me.
So that's something
that we did.
So do we need anything on it or we
Well, I don't know if the board needs to vote on that.
can't hurt? Let's put it on there too. This is, Angela, this is the agreement with the
Okay,
USDA.
can you just go by slowly, cause you're not making any sense to me.
Number 1, deer damage permit application,
Hold
2025.
on, deer damage permit
I can
application
email you this stuff.
That's
to
the,
sign,
yep,
that's the DEC,
yep.
okay,
Secondly,
yeah,
secret forms.
just to approve, is that authorization to
24-25
sign?
deer management project.
What are you authorizing? You're authorizing the seeker form to be signed by the
Deer
department
calling, that's correct.
for deer calling?
That's partial. Agreement with the USDA.
Yeah, agreement. Okay, thank you.
What about that, Ange?
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion, allow the execution of the deer damage permit application of the deeds. Motion from Joe and a second from Carrie. For the vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion is carried. I'll entertain the motion to authorize execution of the secret forms. We declare the town as lead agency. I'll entertain a motion from Joe and a second from Carrie. For the vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion is carried, and I'll entertain a motion to authorize execution of the 2024 contract with the U.S. Department of Agriculture.
The whitetail deer damage management.
2024-2025.
A motion from Alex and a second from Jack. For the vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion's carried.
Thank you.
Okay,
I'll get your signatures on.
Thanks, Lana.
Thanks, Luana.
all right. Authorization to award the Janesville Community Center bid.
So we recently accepted bids for the renovation of the Janesville Community Center. Great news, the bids came in low. $6,000 we had to spend.
Yeah.
So, right, our bids were $690,400, $690,497. And our budget with grant funding was $696. We broke the bids out anticipating that we might not be able to do everything, but basically we're working on the shell of the building. So we're working on a new roof. A new front of the building. A new rear porch. A new carport for a better term. A new siding. So this will get us pretty far down the road. And then we can look at the interior of the building and the layout. Before we should be very well set for the Hamlet. We're looking for authorization. Smith Structures. I did talk to Smith Structures. They're comfortable with their bid. We haven't worked with them before, but we did some research on them. They seem to be a reputable firm. You know, Mark Smith.
Yep.
Yep. Seems like a good guy. And he said we rushed this through. We thought that we might only have to the end of the year to do this, but Carrie has checked with funding agencies and we have till the end of next year. So Mark Smith said he may order some of the trusses and some of the materials, but he was fine holding his price to do the work in the spring and in the winter.
Is he Onondaga County local?
Yes.
Great.
Yep.
He's into it.
Yep. He's into
No,
it.
he's right.
Yeah, yeah.
He's into it.
On the north end, right?
It's your building. In the red drive. Russian veteran.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to authorize execution of the award. Joe, second Jack, vote all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion's carried. Okay.
On that note, I just interacted with this has to do with the fire station. I got some folks I'll share with you guys. It was a little hectic day for me, but we need a new boiler. So I talked about this at budget committee. I'll share this with everybody, but the boiler is not effectively. It's around 7,500. I just want to give you an update. Share with you guys tomorrow. And we'll probably have to go ahead with the purchase for that.
Authorization for that purchase.
Yeah, if you guys are comfortable, if not, we can wait till the next or after we can do it through email. It's up to you.
I'm happy to make a motion to approve the expense of the boiler replacement there. Do you have an amount up to that you want?
So it's around 7,500.
So you want up to $8,000?
Yeah, that's
Up to $8,000 for an emergency repair. Just the food pantry is currently working out of the building and going into the colder weather without heat. They would be able to.
Sucker.
Wait, I think he's talking about station two in East Syracuse, right?
Fire station.
James, all right, I thought I heard station two.
Yeah, okay, sorry. But we already took care of that one last year.
All right. Motion for Max, second from Jack, any further discussion? Call for the vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion's carried.
Thank you.
Okay. Gary. A series of agenda items here, the standard disability quotes.
do. So I sent out the quote for the standard life insurance company for our disability policy. We currently have our policy with the standard security and they have really fun. So I requested, Lisa from Halo Fire, or no, yeah, Halo Fire. Yeah, Halo Fire, okay, sorry. To look for, so quotes, I actually wanted to go back to Prudential didn't want to give us a quote, so. They gave the Standard Life sent us a quote, we currently have our down now, so currently working with them, and their rate is $3.96 per member, and our current rate with Standard Security is $8.48. So I thought it would be worth giving it a shot the next year. I guess it could be worse, but it's been better.
Are there any significant policy changes outside of the?
No, it's consistent with what we're currently have, yeah.
The dental's the same price as the 2021.
Yeah, dental's the same, and they have quoted us a 3-year rate guarantee.
Entertain a motion to authorize settlements. Sarah, second, Jack, all the vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion's carried. Move on, see text,
Yeah, so a while back, I was requested to look into, seeing if our financial software, AirView, had a module for property tax, and they had a sales tax, and they were able to create us into that. It allows the, hotels to fill out their returns online, which generates the rate, and they just pay us. So I got a lot of complaints from the hotels that they want to pay with credit card, and they can't find the form online, and it's right there, so, if this is something you guys are interested in, the one-time fee to install it is $11,850, and annually it's $3,729 fee.
Which is the annual fee that covers software support or?
Yes.
But for. You have 3/4 numbers so far? For,
Up to 3, yeah, we were only missing payment from one hotel for the third quarter, and one hotel paid us 1% instead of 2%, so trying to get that back.
where are we at the 3/4?
853,000.
So we should be at $1 million or more.
Oh, we definitely be $1 million or more, because
Yeah.
we only need 146,000.
Well, then we'll be well over $1 million, which is good.
About $1 million too.
And then for $3,700 annual fee seems like a reasonable expenditure to manage that. We're spending a lot of staff time to. deal with
Yeah,
this.
I maintain it all in a separate spreadsheet, and this will allow it to fall again.
That's the annual fee, if there are upgrades within the contract period, will that?
Yeah, so we get live updates with them.
And will this begin when we go to 10?
Yes, it'll be with the implementation of 10, so I'm assuming we're scheduled right now to start version 10 implementation end of January, early February.
So hopefully by the first quarter payment of next year.
And they're not taking a percentage of the income tax system there.
No, they'll probably charge them on a fee to pay online.
Got another hotel to mine.
True, yeah, so.
Yeah, I've notified, look away, the correspondence with them there, all Maryland. Our train will come, okay, go first.
See. projections, I guess, we're pretty much on target.
Yeah.
2% projection. When we have the combo.
Let's see, I think this, because we want to have starting January.
Yeah.
Starting.
Maybe you might very well hit the 1.4 next year.
Sure. Time. Projections.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll entertain a motion to authorize this occupancy purchase of occupancy tax fund. Motion for Jack, second from Bernard, call for the vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion's carried. Okay, quest to create personal lead title and service rights.
Yeah, so I've been working with Max on this one. We found this title, county has it, it's, the duties, closely match what Kathleen is currently working in. Because we've run into the issues with some of the employees who are in different titles with our work experience, being able to flow emotional. We thought it would be a good idea to get this title on our roster and get her into that in January. So this is the first start to get it on our roster, but it's all the HR duties. Benefits. It also frees up the secretaries, supervisor.
Get them to stay.
Yeah, she is.
Did she have an opinion on the title change?
No, she's in favor of that.
I entertain a motion. Sarah, second from Max, so call for vote on favor.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion's carried. SB 75.
Okay, so this one, kind of piggybacked off of the RFP for audit services. I guess it could probably be enough time to you guys decide in November. But currently, our current auditors, performed this duty for us in our interim years. It's OPEB, other post-employment benefits, actuarial calculation. So they roll that forward, as part of their fee. If we do not go with them, we'll have to go back to the EAS. And this is their fee is $4,500 to perform that. So I just wanted to give you a heads up. Don't have to act on it, or you can just.
What's the reply date on for auditing?
November 7th.
So, is there a price that current auditors charge for this service in that or itemized billing?
Our current ones?
Yeah.
It's just.
It's part of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this was not called out as a piece of the scope. of what's on there. So. Authorization for that.
An amendment out on bid. We don't need to put an amendment out on the bid.
I can email them all and ask them.
I just think it would be cheaper to get it all inclusive than having all of parts and all.
They may not agree that, I don't know, I don't like. Jack on providing that service, so they may even just like that, but. I can. Send an email. No, I didn't, that's right.
You want to leave just an option so that you don't ask them, see if they'll come in, if they would, what would it cost me?
Is there a deadline for needing to go forward with this if we use this?
So they start collecting all that information from us, they're in November, end of, or early October, December. So that they can have it ready for the audit. So I would say that we would probably need to make a decision. November meeting,
But you said we'll have a meeting after you hear back from.
so I have November 7th as the return date, we have a meeting on the 11th, potentially one between 11th and 25th.
Not a lot of time after we get those back.
Jack, were you satisfied with the services they provided?
Perfect.
You had to deal with them, were you satisfied with the services?
No, Jack had Russ with Dana Moore do this set of BPAs, their cost is high.
Copy.
They ordered it for cheaper.
Could we go right up until their date when their execution date? 24 hours in advance, or are they requiring a 30-day notice that would be rendering services?
I'll check with them. I feel like last year. Did it kind of. It's just time for them to do it, and it's really not that. It's not that big of a deal, but, I give them the stuff that they ask for timely, so they usually have. And it is a roll forward, so it's not as intense.
Okay. I'd like the amendment to go out, but I'm in favor of the discussions.
Do you feel comfortable if we approve it at the next meeting?
Yeah.
Well, why don't we try it, send the amendment out, see.
Can
what
I
we
just
can
send
do.
them an email, or do I have to? pull?
Financial services.
Okay.
Those are reached.
I had 3 people respond so far.
Will they get a push notification if there is an amendment to the bid? It's 310 people, or are you gonna direct?
I'm gonna directly, the people that have reached out.
I understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Terry.
Michael, what's for MEO for the highway? We'd like to, we received a rescue permission. He's gonna go to the town, be closer to his house, his uncle is the highway superintendent, so I kind of understand a little bit. Not a good time to lose somebody, but with that being said, we're gonna hopefully hire somebody tonight and then we will canvas, we do have some candidates out there that we have been interviewing. That we will hopefully have a name for you.
What's your staffing looking like heading into potential services?
We'll, honored and leave, we've been full, so we hire somebody tonight, we will be short one.
Okay.
We post for this one, so we're actually in pretty good shape.
Great.
Better than we have been, honestly.
Any other questions? Entertain a motion to authorize posting. Joe, second. Sarah. Vote all in favor. Opposed, abstained, motion's carried. Park State Rec truck bid.
Yeah, so we budgeted for a stake rack, for this year for the Parks Department to replace the 1995 older truck, very poor shape. So sent out an email, did everybody get that with all the bids and everything? We did a mini bid.
Yep.
So, Joe Basil Chevrolet is the one that we are recommending, purchased from them before. And we did get a little bit cheaper bid, but we did not get any information on the lift gate and the stake racks specifications. So we're comfortable, we did not get any response back from them, so we requested you guys award Joe Basil 2025 Chevy Silverado 3500 HD regular cab truck with a lift gate and a stake rack. Any questions?
Just quickly, so they, with this bid, all the equipment that you need for that, will come, and when is the expected delivery?
Good question. I might be coming back to you because it's so late in the year for budget transfer.
Okay,
Not sure how.
okay,
That was gonna be my next. I'd say we might have to go some money for next year.
is this one that you use mostly in
Parks,
winter time? So
Not as, well, mostly in the summer, moving picnic tables, equipment with the lift gate, so they're constantly moving all their heavier stuff with this truck, basically.
Entertain a motion. It's Joe, a second, Jack. Call for the vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion is carried. Okay, item for our mini discussion.
So
Then executive session.
we can talk about certain aspects if you want in public, it's fine with me.
Yeah,
But just, I would like to actually, part of it, so, Linden Corners Industrial Color Labs. We have a 6-inch aged water main. Doug, I and Ed were at a meeting with the DOT. They're gonna redo that intersection as part of the 81 project. We asked for a betterment. Really did not get a response back from them, whether they would or wouldn't, very vague. So, looking for probably the board to reach out to someone at the DOT level or a letter be sent. I would really hate to have a lane put over this water main. It's gonna be a financial burden for us in the future. It's already in a bad spot, right near the granite curbing in the sidewalk to repair a very busy intersection. And if it's not moved out from underneath the road, in the future, it's gonna be very expensive for us to do the repair work. And it makes no sense not to replace that before the project gets put in place. It's very deep. So, and it's very deep on the one.
So are you looking for the state to pay for moving the?
We would love to see them do a betterment to get it out of the road.
They were here earlier in the summer. They came through all our files and confirmed it, so there was a formal request and then there was that meeting that we all went to. I believe project manager, that's
What basically asking for is a letter. This board authorized a letter. Term is requested. Spend that. Three of us are. Not like to keep response.
I think the best person to go to.
We believe we're at a point where the state needs a formal request for this betterment. It's best to come.
I understand that, but what I'm asking is Betsy the best person to go to? We have contacts bigger than Betsy. That,
Well,
that,
you can copy Bill Magnarelli, the chair of transportation. Right? He's aware of it. It's, Bill, he's a great guy. Got nothing actionable out of these requests going as high as.
I've got a few things, right?
It's a reasonable ask.
I think it's
Copy the rules about it.
How reasonable it is for them to actually do that.
Project manager.
I think it would be a good position for us to go on record that we're requesting this in the future. If it doesn't.
And I think it's an asset for the community as a whole, right? There's the whole side of town.
I can imagine if that road was under.
It was massive.
That's a good view.
We can talk about it in the executive session.
This should go directly. I don't care if you copy the governor, copy everybody you can, but the letter should be directed to the project manager.
Oh, Rocco, so I can get a better idea of what's say.
Yes. Where some of the letter. So the Rocco. Motion, okay, a second. Gary. Vote on favor. Opposed, stay.
Thank you. Circulated before I send anything.
Then I got some. Town board minutes, October 14th.
Motion to approve.
Motion with Gary, a second for Joe, any further discussion? Up and vote, on favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same, carried. Angela, town girl.
This is just really just an update that CNB from Recreation and I have been working, with a person to design, what we're going to be having on town apparel. It will have our Clover logo that we have on it, some with departments and some without. Like you guys know that I bring that to you guys once we have those designs. So, consistent.
You have a lot of purchase,
Yeah, you can, there's different.
That'd be great.
Yeah, those will be, there will be some, we're looking at both buying them, anybody wants to buy certain things that say Town of DeWitt, but then also, I think first we're looking at for the departments, like the codes officers are for their jackets, recreation for their shirts, and just trying to get a consistent
Style.
style, yeah.
That's gonna be my question was, we're gonna, I know the codes officer, they brought that up.
Yes, and they actually have already meeting with them and kind of getting the style of it, and then at the same time, we're doing the logos. The next one is mine as well, the background check fees. I received notice from, the company that performs our background checks, that the costs are going up from $10 to $25. I wanted to request a increase, from $10 to $35 to cover administrative costs. And then also update the fee to the solicitor's license. My proposal was 20 per week. But I'm not really open to suggestions. And those both can be changed by resolution. Because we approved that for the local law that we created for that reason.
So how many background checks do we do in a year?
I would say 20 to 30. They're every 6 months. It can vary, it depends on like Spectrum will oftentimes send around up to 10. So it really depends on what Spectrum comes for that.
What do we currently charge?
We currently just charge $10. For, so
Just
it
pass
really,
it.
yeah, we don't, it's not even that I'm looking to make money, but it's the time that we spend on doing all the work to cover that.
Are you doing, or are you passing through this for?
No, we're doing it.
You're doing it?
Yeah, we do notify the police department. We also update our website. We have to make yearly background check form.
And then how many? Yeah,
Generally 20 to 40, there's not a lot.
20 to 40.
40 a year, yeah, and most of those are there's Spectrum comes in with a lot of them, and then there's another one, I think it's a Fox, Verizon, that I've never had an application from Verizon. So if they're on your door not leaving, they're not doing it without a license.
Fox Pest Control, they allowed us,
Yeah,
had to cancel that frequently.
yes. but-
Do they, is that 20 to 40 total or 20 to 40? You're saying it's per
Total.
week, right?
Yeah, yes, well, they'll get multiple, well, they do renew them. I renew them up to a month at a time, like I have 2 Edward Jones. I will let them, I make them come in the first couple of times per week to make sure they're consistent, and if they do it almost year round. And so I will do them up to a month, so that they come back. There was probably more. There's probably. Maybe.
And what are our costs on that one, personnel?
Personnel time, we make copies, we have to make copies of the driver's license each time, which we have to. For then we've got to scan it, we've got to post to the website, we update our list, so there is a quite bit of time spent on doing. It on our.
Do you know when the last time it was updated yet?
It was just. A few years ago. And
You know what
it was. Well, actually, no, it was $10, but we didn't even touch the license fee. We added $10 for the back one. And it's been that $10 since, at least since I was here, probably. For a very long time.
So 20 years, it's been $10.
Yes, yeah.
Could see go, I could see going to 20 and then.
Is there anybody that you imagine $20 would be still?
There's nobody there's the Edward Jones ones, but I don't think that they're.
I think one of the things that might be driving this is I've asked all of the. And so we need to start to. Time. Employee spend on issues on top of the costs. So.
Rightly so, yeah.
I mean, I definitely think we should at least update the background check. I'm okay with waiting to do, to look more into the licensing fee one. I just added the licensing fee because I was gonna propose for the background check.
So okay, sorry.
Allow. Straight across.
So somebody, just for the process, somebody comes in for the first time,
Mm-hmm.
they would need $20 for the week and a background check.
No, what we do is we'll just get the background check first. So they come in with the background check. We do make them fill out the application. So the fee for the background check and the application. Then, once that gets approved, it usually takes 24 to 48 hours. We call them back, they come back, and then they will apply for pay for the license.
So in other words, for whatever reason, the background check, it'll pass.
Yes.
Then you're not refunding them or anything, they have to
Yes.
pay for the license.
Yeah, right.
I'm fine. Seems like a reasonable investment.
Entertain a motion. Next, second. Sarah? Call for the vote on favor.
Aye.
Opposed? Same. Motion is carried.
Thank you.
Okay. Check registry, or no, excuse me, appoint planning board alternate Randy Arnold. Max and I would sit with this fellow, we circulated his resume after the last meeting. He is willing and wants to participate. We'll explain the alternate position, whatever we use for him to identify whether he liked it. Before he made a 7-year commitment to the board. It was appropriate on our end and as well, so it's kind of an acquaintance period. There is a need for additional planning board member and still a need for 2 additional alternates. It's only so, again, I recommend we get this appointment, but I think both Max and I are comfortable with the appointment this evening. Anything to add, Max?
No, I think he actually, I think he's exactly what we're looking for somebody that wants to be involved in the community, is knowledgeable, and I think this is a good start, I think, for either the planning board or the zoning board of appeals, starting as an alternate. As Ed said, those terms are 7 years, that's a long time to get somebody to commit these days, so I think this is a real good fit, and I think we can point him to the vacancy. Basically, it would be a 14-month, I guess, appointment at this point as an alternate.
And I don't know how it works with this board, but, he's got an environmental.
Hey, looks like a good candidate.
Yeah, I think that's great.
Entertain motion. Next, second, Jack. So public vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same, motion's carried. Check registry. Chance? Good.
Yeah, I looked through it.
Carry a second from. Thanks. All for the vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same, motion's carried. Any updates from the board? Chief and I had a very good meeting this morning. Got some lot of good ideas for the department.
Dog shoot.
You have to, I guess.
The chief and I did go over to the Springfield Gardens Tenant Association meeting last Thursday. Things seem to have settled down a little bit. Our code enforcement office continues to be in touch. However, the property needs significant capital to get it up to reasonable standards. I know you had several conversations with the owner.
Thank you. Yes. So.
I may send out an email, and maybe I'll get with the chief as well, but we might want to try to push them to do
More pressure.
2 or 3 things that we've discovered from the tenant meetings. So they used to have 24-hour security over there, they don't have anything.
Just the.
Cameras. Cameras would be helpful. I think there are some lower end things that he can do to.
Like I said, just the water leaks.
Yeah.
So maybe put this November meeting, advertise on all the meeting that. Monday the 11th, 4th Monday.
Do it with the holiday, but do it.
Yeah. Kids are off school, so it's not really.
Bring it with you.
No.
I don't think they'll come, but you can.
We have say what's the budget deadline? 2015.
Our agenda's been pretty long.
They have.
Summer schedule, was that gonna be changing at all for Christmas? Maybe it'll be December 2nd,
Right.
December 16th.
That makes sense to me. Yeah.
Figure 18,
18th,
December 2nd, December 2nd.
I would like, I'm hoping to have a there to approve.
Probably do 11th at 8 or 9 in the morning. Sure. And if it's a short agenda, we can get in and out.
I'd be more in favor of moving it, not that I have my choice here, but, the 25th to the 18th. I'm having that one.
25th of Monday after Thanksgiving.
It's
No,
Monday,
not before.
the week of.
We go.
I would say for now, let's just move the 11th to the morning and we'll play the rest by you.
Yeah.
Maybe at 9 o'clock, I mean, well,
Yes.
9 AM.
Alright.
Well, the regular schedule is the 25th. Just preserve the regular schedule until. Right now, the December schedule is the 9th.
Probably someone brought here, change it to number 2 with number 16.
Yeah, but that was because they. considered the board meeting because we didn't do that, we're saying now they said. Right, I'll entertain a motion to reschedule the 11th meeting from 6 P M. In the evening to move it to 9 AM.
Aye.
Stay in the social schedule. Any other board announcements? Right, for most of yous, if you need a signature or something, you can approach anybody on the board here and get your sheets. We're gonna have you there, technical session. It's Andrew time.
If you want to.
Where are you?
You're saying that.
Warm in here.
It's freezing.
Oh, I know.
This is like freezing around here.
Wasn't about assessments. so.
Yeah.
So much, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
To executive session.
Good night.
I'll entertain a motion to enter executive session. I have a motion from Sarah, a second from Dick.
Aye.
Opposed, same motion's carried.
All good things. Yeah, Jason. All good things. All good things. That is not what has to be our cover on the goal. That is not our cover. Now you can man the.